Right. Hello, gorgeous human being. Michael Edwards coming to you live. I have an amazing conversation today about what's kind of going on and in the energy collectively, and I think it is really going to help you gain some self understanding and like really level up and really understand how to navigate these energies. So if you are here with me live, say hello and let me know, and if you're watching the replay, comment #replay down below. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was. I love to hear from you that you are here. Okay, so this wasn't even planned, but I felt that I had to come and share a bunch of things that are going on right now, because I am seeing them so much. I feel this in the energy, in the collective. I see it in the astrology. I see it in my clients. I see elements of it in myself. And I'm seeing this all over the internet. So I want to come and speak to this paradigm and this energy that's present right now, because life is actually giving us an incredible opportunity to up level. And I want you to really understand what it is and what's being presented to us and how to work with it. Because sometimes when there are opportunities like this and we don't actually know how to work with the energy and how to just like navigate what's happening and navigate our own internal world as things are being brought up, we unfortunately are doomed to go back to what we know and to repeat the cycles of the past. And that is not what we want. We are here for evolution and growth. We are here for up leveling. We are here for unrealistic timelines and results. We are here for wealth and power and happiness and sexiness and the life that we truly desire, right? Authentic success, us really being in our power and thriving. And so I want to talk to you. Hello, Rivers. I want to talk to you today about how to really use what's coming up right now to shift more and more into that. So what you may be feeling and what this energy is that's present in the collective is that you may be feeling and experiencing what used to motivate you falling away. So if you have spent a lot of time being driven, and this, I want to make it really clear, this isn't bad. So nothing I'm about to say is bad. It is simply part of your journey. And as you move to the next part of your journey, it's important to recognize what is actually happening. So if you have spent a lot of time recently or in the last couple of years been driven by external results, been driven by sales, been driven by numbers, been driven by success that maybe was other people's success, other people's paradigm of what you're supposed to want. You may have thought that it was your own, but maybe starting to recognize that it's actually not what you wanted. You may have drawn in other people's energy, other people's voice, other people's things, whether it's a specific person, whether it's family, whether it's peers, whether it's just the collective energy. This is likely something that's been coming through you in your being, and that you have been kind of channeling other people's energies, other people's desires, and also really in seeking of external results. And this probably worked for you quite some time. The seeking of like more money, achievement, sales, and it may have even been that you've kind of dropped back and forth in and out of some kind of uh like highs and lows with that. So where there will have been, you got really connected, you got really in the vibes, you got, super focused on a vision and you brought it into reality. And then after that vision came into your reality, you experienced a dip. So there might have been a lot of seasons and segments where you've been really on and then that's fallen away. And you've been really on and that's fallen away. And this whole paradigm is being pulled apart right now. You are being invited to go past that. And the reason that I wanted to come on and have this conversation today is because what I'm seeing is a lot of people are experiencing this as maybe a lack of motivation, a lack of drive, a feeling of I've come so far in the journey of what I want to create, whether it's in business or career or something else. And now I'm feeling like I just don't know that I feel that lit up to go forward. But what I want you to see is that what's actually happening is that the external motivators, the validation giving things that used to drive you will no longer give you the same fuel that they once did. Similarly, any fear that drove you forward, so the fear of failure, the fear of running out of money, the fear of not being enough, the fear it's at the deepest level of not being loved or unworthy in some way, will not drive you in the same way that it once did. And all of these things that you've picked up from the hologram that you've taken in and that you've been living as though that's your truth, but is actually not your truth, is being disintegrated and dissolved away. And so, practically, what this can leave us with is that these cycles and systems of motivation that we've leaned on up into this point, no matter how distorted they may have been at a time, they have served us in some way because they allowed us to move and to call in external results. But that time is coming to an end. And so if we don't work with this energy that's present, what's likely to happen is that we kind of become complacent. We'll kind of created and we'll fall back into an old pattern and we'll basically make things bad, make things difficult for ourself again because we need that. In the old paradigm, we needed safety and the good and positive momentum to be stripped away in order to tap into our fire, in order to find our power, in order to be in our center. And so you'll probably can see this where in the past, like things have gotten worse and worse and worse, and then you've hit a rock bottom, and then you found this fire within yourself, and you've been able to move from that place. You are being given the opportunity and the invitation right now to break that cycle and to no longer need to drop to the bottom in order to accelerate. Instead, rather, you're being invited to find a new, clearer connection to your purpose and to what truly lights you up, what truly sparks you inside, what truly brings you forward. Okay. So, whatever's going on right now, I don't want you to see that as something bad, as something wrong, as something that's disempowering you. This is something that's happening for you. And this happens no matter what at a certain point in our journey, but it's for whatever reason, it's really being emphasized right now in the collective. So you're probably experiencing some emphasis of this. I did do a training in which I broke down the energetics and the psycho-spiritual dynamics of why this happens in our journey. So if you want to watch that training, you can comment training and I'll send you that. For free, or you can just go check it out on my YouTube channel. I can't remember what I titled it, but it's the latest episode on my podcast and on my YouTube. So if you want the training that goes all into the why of why this happens, then you can go and watch that. But today I'm going to focus more on what to do with this energy. Okay. So what you will likely have been experiencing is the thing that used to light you up has dropped away. And what I want you to see is that this is the invitation for refinement. It's not to go, oh, well, you know, like achievement or growth or success doesn't light me up anymore. So I just need to be grateful for what I have. Gratitude is important, but this can be a trap as well. There's a pacification trap, I call it, where we feel like we just have to be happy with what is and we pacify ourselves and we stop our growth. And it's like this trap snaps shut and then we go into stagnation and then into contraction because we are meant to grow. Your desires are calling you higher. And so what you'll find is the distortion that's been removed from your field will actually allow you to see clearer. And so what you want to do is you want to actually refine your vision. Whatever you're doing, whatever manifestation technique that you're using, if you have a vision board or you're journaling or you're using a recording, whatever it is, you want to go and refine that vision because the old vision will not move you the same, and you're probably going to be experiencing a greater level of clarity like from your highest truth, essentially from your soul. Your soul is going to be speaking more clearly through you. And so you want to refine that vision, what it actually is that you want, what actually is in alignment with your purpose, what are your true heart's desires. And then you need to still hold that frequency in the now. This is a huge part of the work that I do with my clients is we map out what it is that we're creating, what that vision is, and then we learn to hold it energetically and see ourselves of as the version of us who has already completed and achieved that thing. Just know that that thing that you're moving towards may be changing. And it's kind of like these blurry glasses, this tinted glasses that have been making you see through other people's eyes and other people's energy are being removed for you so that you can see clearly. Okay. So we need to really go inwards and re-clarify what it is that we want. And although you might not feel as lit up as you sometimes do, there's actually an opportunity right now for a greater level of clarity to come forward. Now, from that place, when we actually connect to what we want, we need to be connecting to that in the now. So first of all, you want to connect to the highest vision of what it is that you really want, like the highest truth, the biggest thing, the thing that actually excites you. It should bring up excitement and terror in you at the same time. If it doesn't elicit an emotional response, it's not big enough. So anywhere you're settling or anywhere you're doing the plan B or anywhere you're doing the safe plan, we want to get rid of that. We want to refine what's the actual vision. What is my soul actually calling me towards? What is me living in my highest truth and in my highest purpose? And now. So we want to get rid of anywhere that we're using time against ourselves. We want to start to channel that into the now. And we can ask the question, how can I have that now? How can I welcome that in now? Emotionally, we want to start getting connected to the feeling of already having that thing, to the excitement, to the gratitude, all the things. And energetically, we want to start to vibrationally hold that in our being. We want to expand our capacity to hold that. And this is going to bring up some kind of challenge for you. Okay. And this is where we can't make the mistake, because what most people do is the challenge throws them off and then we go back down the spiral and then we repeat whatever loop that we've been on. So if it's 6 months or a year or a 3 year cycle, we'll just go back and repeat the same loop. And that's not what we want. Life is literally asking us to break the loop at this point. So when you get clear on your highest desire from this clearer truth that you can now see because of the energies that are present, and you start to call it in now, this will bring up some kind of contrast. And it will be one of two things. It will either be an internal thing or external or both. And what this is, well, first of all, vibrationally, it's whatever isn't the match, because you're not a vibrational match for what you want. If you were, it would already be here. It's as simple as that. It really is that simple. If you were already a vibrational match for what you want, you would already have it. So some part of you is not a match. So that must be brought to the surface. And when we make the request, when we tune into the desire and we start to call it in, we're not just calling the thing towards us, we're also calling up whatever part of us is not a match. And so one way that this will show up is internally, in terms of like difficult emotions, so doubt, fear, shame, guilt, worry, the fear that we can't have what we want, the fear that everything's going to fall apart, like imposter syndrome energy. Like old wounds might get reactivated, some kind of old spiral, old pattern. You might literally hit what feels like a barrier. I call it the wall of dread. Sometimes this will often show up as avoiding. It'll be like, there's like your day to day things that you do easily, but then there's like the big thing that you have to work towards. And you keep avoiding the big thing by doing day to day stuff, which might be important, but it's not taking you towards that big thing. And when you finally get focused on it and you focus on the big thing, it'll actually bring up this wall of dread. And what you'll realize is that the avoiding that you were doing in the day to day was actually to avoid this big emotional block between you and the thing. And again, this is happening for you. This is not coming up because there's something wrong with you or you're incapable or you're flawed in some way. This is what happens for everyone. This is literally what I do. The emotional intelligence, the energetics, and inner work around success, authentic success. This is what people constantly come up against, this internal barrier. And so the lesson here is to not internalize that and make yourself bad or wrong or go, there's something wrong with me. If you are hitting that wall, that fear, that wall of dread, it literally means that you're going in the right direction. And that thing was something that was hidden. It was in the shadow before. It was somewhere in the back of your consciousness, in the back of your being, in the back of your awareness that was running you, but it was not visible to your conscious awareness. And now, because of what you're doing, it's literally being brought up to the surface, but it's being brought up to be integrated. To be integrated. You must integrate whatever that difficult thing is in order to move through it and then move to the next level. And we do this by facing that thing and sitting with those uncomfortable emotions and sitting with that energy. We must face it. We must sit with it no matter how uncomfortable it is. Okay, so that's one, is the internal resistance. The other thing that may come up is external resistance. And so you might manifest a crisis, a sickness, a distraction, um, an opportunity that's it's an opportunity, but it's like actually a distraction in disguise because it'll be something at the old frequency, at the old caliber, or you might even be drawn to do something that is in terms of caliber, it's a repetition of the past. It's keeping you on the old loop, the old spiral, and it's not actually moving you to the frequency of the new thing. So some external thing will happen, and again, people will often say, oh, well, I'm being tested, or like this always happens. We don't need any of that. It's not that you're being tested. It's again that when you request, because when we request something, the universe responds. It just doesn't always respond in the way that we imagine. And again, you're not a vibrational match for the thing that you want. Otherwise, you would already have it. So when you make the request to call something in this higher state of alignment, what's going to happen is whatever is not a vibrational match has to come to the surface. And so whatever obstacle that you call in through, it's called the law of opposites, is the name of the mechanic. It is the opportunity for you to build the internal resource to become a match for what you want. Okay. So let's say that you want, I'm trying to think of a recent example. I always go to this one. So let's say that you want more money. So I had a client last year that wanted to double her revenue. Okay. And we coded this in, we worked on this, I coded this into her field, we did the identity work, and she immediately manifested this huge financial crisis at the level she was at. It was like some there was like some error with like the connection for her payment process or her banking system. There was some problem with some loan that she had. There were all these financial problems. They all came at once, like three different things that were unrelated in terms of in the 3D, that all came at exactly the same time. And she went into major crisis around this. So she got hooked, and she was going back. I didn't mean to like strap my shirt so much there, but she got hooked. I was doing the hook on my clothes. She got hooked into the story, into the 3D, into the old paradigm, and she started to go back into that old cycle. And I helped her through this experience highlight, no, 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 these are the universal mechanics that are coming in, because you have to build more internal resource in the form of emotional intelligence and energetically being able to hold more money. And that means being able to hold the good and the bad. Because if you can't hold the stress of $500,000, which is where she was, then you can't, it doesn't matter if you can hold the good of 1 million. If you can't hold a greater level of stress, you won't get it. You have to be able to energetically hold the good and the bad. You have to be able to hold the entire spectrum of frequency of what the thing is. You can't be a vibrational match for just the good of the thing. You have to be a vibrational match for all of the thing. And that means the good and the challenges. And so the experience that you manifest in your life is literally the opportunity for you to build the internal resource to hold the entire thing that you're manifesting, the good and the bad. It's not really bad. It's just the shadow element. It's the hard part of it, right? And so you have to recognize this because whatever thing comes up in your experience, it's asking you to do that. It's asking you to grow and it's asking you to make a different choice. So, again, you're going to want to do the internal work around this. But in both cases, whether it's the internal experience or the external experience, you want to, you want to anchor this in by making a different choice. Okay. It doesn't matter if you just get there energetically. It doesn't matter if you are convinced, trying to tell yourself that you believe a different in a different reality. None of that matters if you don't make a different choice. The different choice is what leads to the different reality. It's the final piece. I look at it in terms of the chakras. Every chakra has to be recoded to the new frequency, and your lower chakras are recoded by action, particularly your root chakra. So in order to fully recode yourself to the new frequency, to the new reality that you have this incredible opportunity to align with right now, you have to anchor it in with action. Okay, so go over everything I said. So, one, any feelings of uninspiredness, lack of motivation, questioning, can I really get there? Do I even want this? That's coming up in relation to you and what it is that you want is actually an invitation to go inwards and get clear on your truth, what it is that you actually want, your soul's truth coming with you, not what the ego wants, not what you think you're supposed to want, not what your wounds have caused you to chase after, but what you actually want, what brings you fulfillment. As you get clear on this, you want to really focus on bringing it in the now, mentally, emotionally, identity, vibrationally, in the now. As you do that, you're going to call in some kind of resistance, either internal resistance in terms of doubt, worry, fear, like an internal barrier, a wall of dread, I call it, or you're going to experience some kind of contrast in your life that you manifest, some time of external resistance. Either way, it's asking you to sit with what's uncomfortable. It's asking you to work on yourself and build the internal resource to move through whatever this is, to come into a greater level of wholeness with yourself so that you can walk yourself through this thing and ultimately make a different choice. And it's the different choice that moves you into a new reality. Okay, so this is what's happening right now. This is what's happening right now. And so there is this incredible opportunity to grow and to up level and to step into another life, another reality. So there's too many comments right now. I'll come back to them at the end. Okay. So if you want, so first of all, it's the first thing is that I just want you to know this because this is really, really, really important. This is so important when we get these opportunities. It's almost like the veil gets thinner, the walls get thinner, right? And it's like we can see the pattern that we're in, or these strands come into our life. These like energetic threads become available to us that if we work with them the way they're intended, then we can literally break free of the patterns of the past. And so, first of all, I want you to know about this. Second of all, because this is so powerful and because I'm feeling this and because this is so present in the field right now, I have also opened the door to two special offers around this energy. So the first one is I'm running an invisible offer right now, which is it's just the invisible offer. The name will be coming out later this week as the price increases. And this offer is all about this. Everything I said today, I'm going to walk you through the how, and I'm going to walk you through all my processes around it from creating the vision. I'm actually not supposed to give this level of detail this early, but it's fine. We're going to do it. We're going to do it anyways because I'm fired up. From creating the vision, from aligning to your highest truth, from focusing on it and calling it in subconsciously, emotionally, energetically, to dealing with the obstacles that will come to the surface And another piece that I didn't talk about today, which is really important, which is also aligning your human and aligning your day-to-day life with this deeper truth of what you're calling in. So, in order to create something in our life, we need to know two things. We need to understand the thing and the vibration of the thing that we're calling in. And we also need to understand where we are. And our job is to energetically resolve these two things. So, a lot of the times we just think about raising our frequency to the thing, and that is true. But a lot of people forget about where they are. And what we do a lot of the times I've seen is that we get so focused on the manifestation that we kind of disassociate and unplug from where we are. But you need to be grounded into both realities. So you need to be calling in the energy, the wisdom, the vision, the frequency of what it is that you're creating into the now. But you need to also be navigating your now into the reality. And so I'm going to go really deep I'm going to go really deep into this in this offer, and I'm going to help you set up things that you can measure practically in the day to day that will help you with this, that will help you align and create what it is that you really want, what is going to actually feel so good to your soul, what is actually going to make you thrive. And I just want to say, like, I am so good at this. The people who are doing this work in my world right now are thriving. So many people are saying, not just are they getting what they want, but they're so happy. These old achievement wounds that have driven people are melting away. And they're just like, I've never loved my life so much. And that's ultimately what I want for you. I want you to get what you want, but I want you to love your life. That's actually the most important part. And they're not oppositional. It's not, I'm either happy with what I have or I'm unhappy and striving. It's, we get to have more maturity. We get to have a higher level of refinement. We get to have such a high standard for the experience of life that we're creating. And that is what we are going to do in this offer. And I want to say as well, like, I'm recognizing as I do more of this work, I feel like a lot of people have been in containers. A lot of people have heard about energetics, energy work, and have maybe learned amazing things, but it's been very conceptual. I don't just teach concepts, I teach implementation. So in my world, you will get practical implementation. There will be an activation to help recode you. There will be exercises. And I want to be clear that people that do get these results do the work in my world. So you have to be prepared to do the work. It's not mean a crazy amount of work, but you are going to have to do the work that I give you. There's going to be exercises that you're going to do that are going to help you like understand this on a deeper level and help you reprogram and recode yourself for this. And then finally, you're going to set up things that you can measure on a daily basis that you have as kind of these little they're like little norths on your compass that are guiding you into more of who you really are, that will help you live in the day to day and still be lit up and still be inspired and still be coming back to your purpose, so that you can be in the continual remembering process of who you really are, continually lighting up more and more, not just as you move towards what you want, yes, as you call that in, but also as you just learn to live more authentically and more inspired as who you really are in the day to day. So that is what is going to be in the invisible offer. If you want to join that, you can comment lit up. You can comment or DM lit up for the invisible offer. We're going to be doing all of this mapping and all of this shifting. I can tell you, as I'm doing the outline for this, it is going to be amazing. It is going to be amazing. That's all I'll say. It's going to be amazing. And the price, it's an invisible offer. So the price is continuing to increase as I release more details. So later this week, I will release the name and the dates and details and stuff. And there will be another price increase. So if you want to get in now, I welcome you to get in now. Otherwise, you can wait until there's more details and you can jump in then. And again, if you want to do the invisible offer with me, it can comment or DM me lit up for that. The second thing that I've opened up is a one-to-one experience with me. So it's called the Recoding Experience. It is one 90-minute session where we will do what I'm talking about with the recoding, the energetic and the subconscious reprogramming and recoding work to help you really clear anything that's blocking you, slowing you down, limiting or stopping you, anything in your field that's not in resonance with what you really want and with who you really are, and help call in an accelerated, precise way that energy and identity of who you really are. And the caveat that I want you to have is I want you to know that this is extremely, extremely powerful work. and it will bring up something that's difficult for you, likely. So whether it be like some of my clients, I experience this when I do this on myself as well. Usually the next day is a nightmare because it brings up everything emotionally that has not been in alignment with me creating the success and creating what I want. Or you might manifest obstacles in your reality, but those are, again, as I said earlier, those are literally the things that you need to step into like the greater alignment and the greater truth of who you really are and what it is that you're calling in. So those are opportunities for you to align deeper. I just want you to know, because sometimes I think people think like, oh, energy work, but like this is really, really powerful stuff and it will change you. But I will do my part and we will do our part to shift you energetically, unconsciously, emotionally. But you will have to do your part to like do the work and deal with what comes up. And again, make a different choice. That is your responsibility. And in order to support that, this comes with a Telegram day. So after your 90-minute session, you get to book a Telegram day with me. Telegram's just a voice note app, and we will voice note back and forth. And I will help you kind of decode anything that is coming up, anything that's coming up in your reality. And I'll give you the conscious guidance and any tools that you need to help work through that thing. And the combination between the 90-minute recoding session and the Telegram day to help you like really understand what's going on and give you guidance around moving forward is so powerful. People have created such huge leaps in their life and in their reality and in their results from these experiences. So that's what's available right now, the recoding experience, and it's available right now on Pay What You Desire. So a couple of times a year, I like to do this where I open it up and you can choose the price that makes the most sense for you. Energetically, you want to use this as a tool to help be stepping into your future self. So keep that in mind when you're choosing the price, but it's open. And I want to tell you something, because people always say this thing to me where they're like, I felt guilty, paying whatever. I don't care. I literally don't care. I set a minimum price. I think it's $400. That's the minimum price. As long as you pay within the range, which you literally can't, because on the payment page, you can't pay outside that range. I don't care. When I say I'm doing this from a place of service and that I love to open the door to this a couple times a year, I literally love to open the door to this. So I don't want you to feel like guilty or bad or whatever, because sometimes people say that to me. It's not about me, and that is actually something about you where you're feeling like a people pleasing energy coming in. So that's something to sit with. But we want to dissolve that, and you want to make the investment from the energy of the goal achieved self, from the wish fulfilled self, from the energy of like who you're becoming, right? Like that's it. It's very simple. And so it's an opportunity, even in the picking of your price, to play with that. But I don't want you to feel any guilt or any weirdness around me. I often don't even look at the prices. Like I remember one woman came on and she was like, I'm so sorry, and this and that and whatever. And I wish I could give you more. And it's like, honestly, I don't even know what you paid. I didn't even look at it. I just get the notification and you're in my calendar and I'm so excited. And that's it. Like I really am not thinking any more about it. So I don't know why, but today it just felt important to share that. So if you want to do this work with me, the one-to-one session and the Telegram day, and really work on this recoding and all of the like, yeah, the conscious feedback that comes around it. I don't know if you guys can tell, I live for this. I live for helping people reorient their internal reality so that they can get what they want and really freaking thrive. So this 90-minute recoding session and Telegram day combo that I'm doing right now on Pay What You Desire pricing is literally fire. Is literally fire. And there's only, I think there's four left. And there's four left, I think, of the time of this recording. And they're only open sometimes. Like I only do it a couple times a year. So if you are interested in doing that, I really, really encourage you to jump in. So I'm just going to look at the comments here. Um, Yeah, someone said something about starting and stopping. This is like definitely a part of this energy that can come through. Womb consciousness is here. Hello, hello. Yeah, the contracting after we've risen. This is so big to recognize that we want to recode this, so we're making a different choice and it's going to feel different. This is something that's coming up in my mastermind right now, is it feels different. Okay, especially when you've achieved a level of like you'll be experiencing a degree of this no matter what, but especially if you've achieved a level of success and freedom that you've been desiring for a long time, it feels different because the fear of needing to get there or like the validation seeking of I have to have will not be as powerful as it once was. So it's almost like there's this space, and our whole life we've been telling ourselves, well, I want this space, I want this space. But when you get it, it's really interesting because what used to drive you won't be the same. And so it's very easy to fall into complacency in this time and then internalize it and make yourself wrong in some way. But what you want to recognize is what's actually happening and that we it's like I'm really about becoming internally defined in my world. That's how we activate our authentic power by becoming internally defined. And so the opportunity right now is to do this by becoming more internally defined in our alignment with our soul's highest truth, with our life's purpose. And with these, I'm going to teach you them in the invisible offer with these like they're like micro motivators, I call them. They're little things that we really have to comb through ourself and our life to find. They're like the teensiest things and they're very nuanced. These are the really small details. But when we figure out what we are, we can optimize our life and our business to be more in alignment with them. And it's literally like you're going to pour gasoline on your motivation and on your like on your inner fire. It's amazing. So that is what we're going to be doing there. So I love this recognition. Um People are criticizing me on YouTube. Um, yeah, and someone said I'm the third person to mention breaking the cycle in the last 24 hours, and it's like, yeah, this is the thing. We want to break those cycles. We want to break those patterns, and we do that through action and having the action be the thing that actually changes it. And so sometimes a place that we can sabotage ourselves is that we do the inner work and we convince ourselves that we've changed because we're able to create a different feeling experience um, in ourselves. But if we don't take action and create a new reality, an action and a different choice that creates a new reality, then we will eventually go back because we'll continue we'll continue to exist in an environment that's a match for the old paradigm and the old reality, which means over time, like frequency wise and energetically, we'll recode to that old reality. And then we'll just continue to experience the same loop. And the loop looks different. Obviously, it's not like you're, in literally like time is looped. But if you step back and look at like, well, what's happening in my finances, what's happening in my relationships, what's happening in my ups and downs, if you look back, you'll be able to see, oh yeah, I'm actually in a pattern of these same results and these same things repeating. So we have to make that different choice and commit and really fully live in that new reality until it becomes normal. And once it becomes normal, and anchored in, there is no going back. And so I gave the example the other day of, when I was younger, I traveled the world and I was a dancer and I used to live in all these different places. And yeah, I used to have to take public transit all the time. And sometimes, y- I'd be in a city and I'd be like staying in one area of town and then we'd be like dancing or have rehearsal like across town. It'd be these really long journeys with multiple buses and trains. And I hated it. And after doing it for years, I hated it. And I remember there was a time that I came home and I got a car. I had had a car before, but this was like the first time I like really bought a nice car. And I was like, I will never do that again. I'm never going to live this like public transit commuting life again. And I never did. It just became normal to have a car. And even when I travel now, like I'll get a driver or take an Uber or whatever. But it actually hit me how much, because sometimes people are like, can we take the train? I'm like, no, no train. And I was thinking about this recently. I'm like, oh yeah, I feel that way because I made such a strong decision at a certain point in my life. But then that just became, it took energy and effort at first because what I knew was always these other ways. But then once I made the decision and once that became my reality, there was no going back, right? And there's no reality now where I wouldn't yeah, where I wouldn't have a car, or where I wouldn't be able to move myself around in a way that's actually comfortable. So that's the way it is. It's like we have to normalize that new reality. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me today. I thought this was going to be 15 minutes, but clearly I had a lot to say. So thank you so much for being here with me. Again, if you want to join me for the invisible offer, comment lit up. If you want to jump into the one-to-one recoding experience with me, you can comment recoding. And if you want to get the other training that I did on this about the energetics and psychospiritual dynamics of why we go through this kind of motivation drop once we've experienced success. Oh, I just remembered what it's called. You can comment training or DM me training and I'll send that to you. Or you can look on my podcast and YouTube. And I've just remembered what the title is. It's called The Achievement Hangover. So you can look for that video as well if you just want to go find it yourself. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. I am sending you so much love. And just remember, all of this is happening for you, for your highest growth. And so stay conscious to what is happening, because when you work with the energies as they become available, no matter how difficult it might seem in your reality, it's actually an incredible, incredible opportunity for growth. So thank you for joining me today. I'm sending you so much love, and bye for now.